Part 9 of Federalist 1, we didn't finish the fourth paragraph, so I'll continue. We were talking about ambition, avarice, personal animosity, party opposition, and many other motives that even people with good intentions might be influenced by. So he was talking about, I was mentioning that they were very, very brutally honest about human nature. They were extremely aware that all human beings can do wrong things. Even if they say they are not going to do it, they would say that human beings have the potential of doing the wrong thing because of ambition, avarice, power. Okay, and then he continues, were there not even these inducements to moderation? Nothing could be more ill-judged than the intolerant spirit which has at all times characterized political parties. Okay, at the time there were not any political parties, okay, like we know today. They were trying to avoid it. They couldn't at the end, but they were trying to avoid it. And here he's talking about when a group of people might, in a political sense, see their benefit or what is good for them and maybe come together and form a party, form a group that will benefit what they're interested in getting. So he's saying that just be careful. These kinds of bad things that will damage society could happen to groups of people, even if these groups of people are so-called well-intentioned. Again, goes back to how one cannot trust human beings with power. That's the whole argument here. And he continues, for in politics as in religion, it is equally absurd to aim at making proselytes by fire and sword. Heresies in either can rarely be cured by persecution. This is a beautiful line. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Because he says for politics, in politics, just like religion, this word proselytes comes from proselytize, is when you try to preach your religion and convert others to your religion, try to get them to come and become a member of your faith. And when he says fire and sword, he's making an allusion. He's referring to stories in the Bible that, or some of the other even religious texts, that if you don't convert to our religion, if you don't become a member of our faith, then when you die, you'll be burning in hell and being cut up and tortured. So it's fire and sword. So he says, just like we know it is a mistake to try to make converts, to bring people into your faith by scaring them to death, by telling them they will be burned and cut up. If you don't want to be a heretic, come and join our church. And when you die, God will have forgiveness on you. He says the same thing. It will not work with most people. And it's the same in politics as in religion. He says the same thing. We have to be reasonable. We have to talk to Americans and remind them that they're reasonable people. And we're going to, he says in these papers, show you what is good about this Constitution instead of scaring you to death. We're going to treat you like reasonable adults. We're not going to scare you with hell and going to hell and damnation. And damnation means when you're in hell and God is angry at you and you're damned. If you're not a Christian, this is some of the terms that they use in Christianity. So we'll talk more about this. I'm sorry I'm kind of putting too many things in one or two sentences. What I'll do is, as we go forward, I'll introduce you to some of the books that are written mostly by Americans that explain these things real well. So I don't have to tell you that. You can just go to major historians who have studied this era and learn from it, learn from them. Okay, if you can, I've already mentioned PBS, public broadcasting here in the United States. They get some money from the government, but a lot of money comes from voluntary organizations and just American public, and they probably have some of the best programmings. So if you can watch stuff from PBS, and one 6-hour program they have, I think it's available online. It's called God in America. I recommend that. This is one of the series that you can watch, and it'll kind of give you a general picture of the story of God and the story of religion in America. And I think it'll be a good place to start. And as we go along, I'll refer you to other things that you can watch and learn. So check PBS online. They've got a lot of their videos available. They usually have great programming. And it's wonderful, real helpful. So PBS God in America, I think it would be good for you to start understanding the role of religion in America before we go further into studying of the Federalist Papers. Okay, I'm not going to go into next paragraph. Just keep an eye. Actually, just pay attention to the rivers here in the United States. Be familiar with the map. This is another map, and kind of has a layout of the biggest rivers in the United States. Like I told you, this is the Missouri River. Starts right here, comes here, and then it joins Mississippi. And then from here all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, it's the Mississippi River, a big river. This is the Tennessee River. State of Tennessee is right here. You'll see it on the map. This is Ohio. I've already mentioned to you that Abraham Lincoln is my favorite president. And he was lucky to have been born in this little corner here. And after a little while, his parents moved north of this river. And back then, we will get to it. We'll study American history as we go forward. But all the territory north of Ohio River, you could not, slavery was not allowed. Okay? And that's why I say these rivers are important, not just for carrying different things and for trade and for commercial purposes. Sometimes in America, some of these rivers actually are the borders between the states. So keep that in mind. This is the Hudson River right here. See? Sometimes you hear they call Hudson Valley. And this little area right here, right next to the river, is called the Hudson Valley. That's in the state of New York. And this area at first was settled by a lot of Dutch people, because New York, state of New York, before it became New York, it was a Dutch colony, a colony of Holland, and it was called New Holland. And then the British took over and they changed it to New York. Like President Roosevelt and stuff, they were of Dutch heritage. They were from this area of the United States. Mark Twain, that is famous because of his writing. He was born around here in Missouri, right next to the Mississippi River. This is the Colorado River, and it's important to know this, is that later on you'll get to see a lot of irrigation when they actually have pipes carrying water from Colorado into Arizona and even California so that they can grow things. It's important to know where Colorado River is. This is Snake River right here, Snake. And this is Columbia River. This is Platte River, Platte. This is the Red River. Where I live in Oklahoma, this is, you'll see the border between Oklahoma and Texas. And this is the Rio Grande, where United States and Mexico border. Rio Grande. So just get online and look up these rivers and write really nice color map and familiarize yourself with where they are. We'll talk to you next time.